Before you begin, make sure that your buttercream is the correct consistency. You should be able to make a nice line without breaking. If the buttercream breaks, you'll want to add a little water to make it thinner. Use a nice even pressure and let go when you're about to get to the end of the line. It's okay to pipe back up and down again, especially for a cursive design. Be sure to keep the piping tip up above the cake, and it helps to steady your hand. Right now, I have my elbow on the table. If I'm doing it on a cake at an angle, I'll even hold it with my other hand. If you make a mistake, you can use a wet paintbrush to make any corrections. Gently push up underneath and pull up any frosting to pull it off of the cake. Being gentle. Use the paintbrush to smooth any spots and to remove all the buttercream off of your cake. Remove the buttercream back to a spot that makes sense to start, in this case, the top of that Y. You can also use the paintbrush to make any minor corrections, like in this case, widening the opening in the Y, and also smoothing buttercream where you've gone back over in spots. Anything that's lifted up or has a spot on it, you can go back and use the paintbrush to soften. Next, I'm going to show you how to make 3 different flowers using the same petal. I'm going to start with that large opening on the bottom and just make some lines straight up. You can curl these if you like or keep them very straight. Then I switched to a white piping bag fitted with a grass tip. Flower. I'm going to start on one side, and as I apply pressure, I turn the tip and bring back down, flaring the design out. Start pressure, and as I pull back, release, and it'll make a pretty petal. For this center, I use a round tip. You can even add a second layer of smaller petals if you like. For the final flower, I'm just piping a straight line. That big, thick opening is up on top again, And I release. Lots of pressure and then pull back. Pressure and pull back and stop. And I see one petal could be a little bit bigger. And then using that round tip, I just make a circle in the middle. This is a leaf tip. It makes leaves. But if you turn it on its side, it can also make vines and other leaves like vines and tropical leaves. When you're piping a leaf, if the end separates to make a prong, you can use the paintbrush to gently push those together to form a point. When making a monogram, I start with the bottommost line. In this case, that's the outline of the C, curving gently. Then I come back and add those end pieces that come on top of that line. I also fatten the edge of the C by adding a little bit more buttercream. Use the paintbrush to smooth these together and clean up any mistakes. Right now I'm using a very pointed paintbrush so that I can really get a fine line here. But when you're smoothing, you might want to use a little bit fatter so that it doesn't make a line in the frosting as you dab it. Next, I work on those outer lines, and again, I'm starting with the bottommost line. In this case, that's the line of the leaves. And then I pipe the leaves themselves. Put lots of pressure at first, and as you let go, pull out. The key to buttercream piping is not only the consistency of the buttercream, but also learning the pressure of when to start and when to stop and how much to apply. It is lots of practice, but I promise it's worth it.